Hi guys, and welcome to the GameStormers. So on the show we have been playing games for a while now. We thought we would do something new. We are actually going to make a game.
Well, hey,
which is awesome. So we're participating in my first game jam on Itch.io. Is that how you pronounce it? Itch.io.
Yeah.
Which is really cool. So we have 2 weeks to make a game. This is the winter edition. I think they do a winter and a summer.
Yeah, I think so too.
Which is really cool. 2 weeks. I'm a bit nervous, to be honest. I don't know what we've gotten ourselves into. So I guess a bit of a quick history on, I guess, how we're able to do this. So we've both been dabbling in sort of indie stuff. Bit of Click Team Fusion or Multimedia Fusion back in the day, or Click and Play. That was the first one.
Yeah, I remember hearing about that.
Back in the day. That was where I started. So we've decided to use that as our platform. So we're using Click Team Fusion 2.5, doing most of the graphics ourselves. We had someone help us out with music, which we'll mention a little bit later, which is freaking awesome.
Yeah, hell yeah.
The community's been so helpful in jumping in and getting us going.
Yeah, it's supportive. It's great.
So let's go on to the game pitch. This is what we're trying to create in 2 weeks.
Jeez.
I feel like we may have bitten off a bit more than we can chew, but that's okay. That's fine. Like, that's what it's all about.
Exactly.
And there'll be a crunch time in the last final hours, and it'll be interesting. So, let's get to it. This is DevLog 1. Imagine an amazing spaceship adventure. There's aliens, there's docking, there's fights, there's lasers, there's shields, and you're a part of the team. You're the engineer. Unfortunately, you never get to leave the engine bay. And you never get to see any of the action in the game.
Yay.
So that's kind of the concept of the game. We thought it would be a bit of fun. So the whole game revolves around the engine room. And you'll communicate in a one-way sort of fashion. You'll sort of hear the communication of the team. And they'll sort of like be talking amongst themselves and to you. You can't respond. All you can do is do what they want you to do. And they'll go on amazing missions and you won't be part of them.
It's pretty good.
We thought interesting concept, but it's all about getting the systems right, getting the events, like basically everything's going to happen and you'll be under pressure to complete these things within the right time. If you don't do it in the right time, like the crew could die, you could die. If you do it in the right time, then you get to move on. Sometimes multiple things will happen at the same time. Like that's what we want with like that feeling of like tenseness, like you don't really know what's going to happen next. And you get to immerse yourself in the storyline and sort of literally vicariously live through what your teammates are experiencing.
Yeah.
Which is really cool. Oh, we need to throw in what the game's called.
Oh, yeah.
We recently named the game about 5 minutes ago. So we're going to call it I'm Also Here, A Space Engineer's Tale. Which I think perfectly sums up the experience you'll have in the game. And a lot of the storyline elements are going to be based around like the fact that you're really important and crucial to the ship's operation, but also that you're not really important and not really included.
Not really get acknowledged or anything.
Which I'm sure that a lot of people can relate to, and it'll be really interesting how the gameplay progresses that way. Tell us a little bit about the characters that we're going to encounter throughout the game.
Gotcha. So, alright, so you're on a small ship. I sort of just made up a class, so it's like a small Corvette class. Used to be...
Oh, of course.
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, it's Corvette class, yeah.
I need to give it... Well, it's a Corvette, but it needs to be some sort of class of Corvette, and I was like, bucket class.
It's a bucket class? It's like not very good.
It's actually named after Mark Bouquet, but it's just unfortunately spelled.
So it appears like it's a crap ship, but it's actually like, not bad.
Yeah, it's alright. It's not bad. It's pretty crap shit. So you've only got 5 crew on the whole ship itself.
Yeah.
So you've got the captain. So you've got Ernest Mantooth, who's the captain. He's a perfectionist. He likes to have everything done his way, obviously because he's a captain and he's done well so far. But I think he's sort of trying to bury his own insecurities by being perfect and trying to convince himself that he is, but he knows he's not.
Okay, right. Yeah. that seems to describe most managerial positions. Yeah. Sure.
Okay. You're doing it wrong. It's not me.
Yeah, that's right.
Never.
I'm perfect.
Yeah. Next up, we've got the pilot, Barnaby Cradell, known as Barn or Barnsey. No throwback to maybe not. So he's a little bit of a meat character, a little bit withdrawn, but he really gets into flying when the heat's on, pretty much. So
I thought you said, for some reason I thought you said meat character, like brawny no brains. But
Gotcha.
Clearly not. That's not what you meant, is it?
he's what I like to call the meat man.
That's not what you meant, is it?
No, not particularly.
So
He's
meek.
meek.
Gotcha.
Yeah, that's the one. My bad.
That was my misunderstanding.
You like see this muscly dude, and you see this like stick figure dude, and you're like, what happened?
And he's like, "Oh, no, actually not for me."
Oh, please don't.
Please no, I couldn't possibly. Okay, so that's the pilot character.
Yep, that's
Okay.
one. Then we got weapon specialist, so I've got Kyla McRae. So Chris gave her the nickname of Nugget.
Nugget.
Yeah.
Well, I think like when you're a pilot, you need to have a call sign, and if your last name is McRae, it's just there's an obvious connection. And Nugget, it's a cool call sign. I like it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, it works. It works.
I'm loving it. Yeah.
That's a very good call.
Thank you very much. So she's an interesting one. I was thinking about making her a really like gruff, sort of grizzled, well-seasoned gunner, but
Which I guess is kind of like would kind of be generic for those roles, wouldn't it?
exactly right.
Yeah.
You think of like a Sarge, and you're like, guns and shooting and killing people.
That's it.
But I thought to sort of switch it up a little bit with her being quite naive. Like she's fairly new to this job. She's great at it. Don't get me wrong. She does really, really well. But she feels like her hand's being forced to do so. Like the only way that she can keep her friends alive and safe is by killing other people, and she hates it.
Right. Okay.
So like every time she kills someone, she's like,
So she's like really good at something, but she doesn't really want to
being
do
good.
it.
Yeah, exactly
Gotcha.
right. It's like she's blessed and cursed at the same time.
Yeah, but she kind of like wouldn't want to, like she wouldn't not want to fight because then she'd lose her friends.
Exactly right.
That's
Like,
interesting.
she'll
Okay.
try and wing a ship if it like puts them out of commission and will be no longer a threat. But
but
if it's a threat, she has to neutralize.
So she
it
prefer
no
not
matter
to go for the kill shot. That's interesting.
Yeah.
That's cool. I like that. It's a very conflicted character.
what. Exactly right. Like
Yeah.
give it a bit of depth.
Oh, they're my favourite character. My favourite character. I'm so glad we did this. We were just going to have 4 human characters, and then we're like, you know what? It's a space game. We need to have some sort of artificial intelligence.
And
What
that's
have we
exactly
got, Barry? What have we got?
So it's I'm gonna have to read it out. So he's the comm specialist. Is
Yeah.
an AI.
What's his code model name?
All right. So he's BP-B0P.E.
Of course.
So that stands for Bright Pharmaceuticals Model B0P, meaning biomedical, zero restrictions, and pathology.
Division, okay.
And Revision E. So it's later software, yeah. Who's colloquially known as Beep Bope.
I'm so happy with that.
Beep
Bope.
Hey, Beep Bope. We can't get a readout on the radar. Yes.
Certainly, sir. Shall I administer?
You seem to be feeling unwell. So Beep Bope, the way he became the way he is now is he was hacked. So the hackers were like, all right, let's repurpose this dude and sell him for some good money. So they installed like navigational chips, different CPU, so he could calculate jumps and all this sort of stuff. But as a little bit of like a stuff you to whoever buys him, they left in some of the pharmaceutical
that's right.
rolls in his. So every now and again, he'll just like he'll see someone sneeze and be like, doo doo.
Shall I administer morphine?
Yeah. Here, tissues.
That's right.
We'll just like shoot tissues out of the room.
That's right. Please take a pamphlet for Bright Pharmaceuticals.
Looking after you.
It's cool though. It adds a bit of a depth to the character. I'm really glad that like as an exercise we sat down and like fleshed out these characters a bit, because it led to that sort of stuff. Like he's already, I don't even know what he's gonna say yet, but he's already quite humorous.
Yeah.
And like I really like, I feel like I'm gonna connect to him while I'm playing the game. So that's cool. It's awesome.
It's just like all the characters are going to colour the story, and that's going to help progress that. So I need like a base to work with, and then their interactions and how they'll react to things is what's going to sort of shape the arc of not only the whole story, but day to day sort of things that happen. Like
Which makes a lot of sense. So that's kind of the cool thing. I think we both bring 2 very important different aspects to the game. So the way I think is very analytical, very structured in terms of numbers, clicking, this action, that thing. But when it comes to like the storyline sort of stuff, I wouldn't have delved that deep. I wouldn't have done research. I've seen him on Wikipedia like looking up types of actual ship engineering constructs and like relating the names of the characters and the names of things back to things, and that's awesome. Like I wouldn't go into that much effort, but I will spend 4 hours in Photoshop attempting to make something look decent.
Well, yeah.
And like 17 hours in QuickTime Fusion trying to make things work. And that's good. We need both of those things.
Yeah, it's going to pay off.
Yeah, which is really cool. So, going to be quite complex actually, because there's going to be missions, and there's going to be communications around those missions. They have to be triggered at certain points. It's all quite technical. I'll throw up on the screen the Excel spreadsheet we've been using, which is just the missions part, not even the comms part. We're not up to that yet.
Yeah.
That'll probably be in the next devlog. We'll have all that flowing. We've only just started designing the systems, so we just started on the shield system. We'll throw a picture of that up as well. So that's one of the few systems in the game. And basically, all of this needs to come together with our limited graphics ability.
Laughable skills, yep.
Well, actually, I'm surprised at how not bad it looks, given the fact that neither of us are artists.
Yeah, you've done very well so far.
We're kind of proud with what it is so far. So, I'm not going to put a link up for you to play it. It's not.
Not yet,
that's not.
yet.
We're not ready. We're not ready for the prime time. Cool. So, basically, what we've got down so far, just in a quick list. So we've been able to get the screen going. We've been able to get missions to drop down based on the timer, which is really important. That's like an integral part of the game. What we want to put into it is some missions will pause the timer because they need to be completed before you can move on to the next one. That's not implemented yet. What we've also done is we can now adjust the temperature and visually represent that to the player. So whether it's too cold, it'll start going blue. Whether it's too hot, it'll start going red. We can show when something collides with the ship, and it'll shake the screen and sort of distort the ship briefly, and you'll get a sound, obviously. Like, these are really important because you're playing in a single space, so stuff needs to happen within that room, even though nothing's
Actually happening.
Yeah,
you need some sort of feedback. Yeah.
So we've got that sort of stuff in there. From there, the next steps are to get communication triggering based on the events that are triggering. So we're going to work on that. That's going to be quite difficult. Once we get that going, then we can really just copy and paste in an Excel spreadsheet with a story, and you can just play the story eventually. That's what we need to do. So there's still quite a lot to do. So we've only really done this one screen, which is really important stuff to get the game flowing. And now that we sort of have that, we can trigger events that require you to use the other system. So, apologies for the nerdy listing of things for our normal viewers, but for the devs that are watching, you'll understand the complexity of what we're doing here. I'll throw up a few event screens of what's happening. But yeah, so it's looking really good so far. Like, we haven't really hit a point yet where we haven't been able to do something, which was my biggest concern. And I know, like, because I've made games before by myself that are much smaller, like less ambitious titles, and eventually you get to a point where you go, I don't know how to do that, and you know what, I'm not going to make games anymore. No, that's it, I'm out. And you can't just leave. Like, I made a game called Ricky Run Fast, which I still haven't finished, and I started it in 2014, and I left it for like 6 months. And then I jumped into it, then I edited it, and I left it for a year, and then I jumped in and edited it recently. Yeah, sometimes you just, like, and we've got that 2-week time period, so there's no opportunity for us to not do anything.
Yeah, exactly.
So we're talking every night, we're sharing ideas every night, we're sharing updates with each other. It's really cool, it's really interesting. Like, I've never been under this time pressure.
Yeah, exactly right.
It's cool, it's energizing. Like, I'm like, I need to work on this. Like, I don't have a choice. Like, I need to get to this next milestone before the day's out, otherwise we're going to fall behind.
Exactly right, yeah.
Which is interesting. And I guess the cool thing is, like, once this finishes, Barry can write another story, and we could just drop it in. And you could just play multiple scenarios of the game. So, that's cool.
Absolutely, you can just grow and grow.
Yeah, like, if it turns out into 1, be finished, and 2, be good.
Yeah. That's pretty important, yep.
I'm questioning both of those. If that's good though, then
awesome. Why wouldn't you?
Yeah. So that's pretty much it for our devlog. Just before we sign off for this one, we really wanted to make a shout out, and I'm going to try and read it off the screen. I feel like even though I'm reading it off the screen, I'm still going to get it wrong. How would you pronounce that?
Mocadium,
I
think.
So this gentleman has jumped in. Honestly, he just offered help on Discord without any prompting. It was really appreciated, and the work that he did for the song, he did the music track for the game, and it sounds amazing. I described it in like 3 words, and he was like, "Yeah, cool.
I got you.
Just give me a few minutes," and just like did it. And it's perfect. Like I literally couldn't think. Like I was listening to it, I'm like, this is exactly what I was imagining. And were you the same when you heard it? Because you heard it a little bit later. It's so good,
atmospheric, and just like it's spacey as. So
so we just really wanted to say thank you. Like we really appreciate that you did that for us. You absolutely didn't have to jump into that. So basically, if you want to, you can follow him on SoundCloud. We'll put a link down here. We'll put it in the description so you can click through. Give him a follow. He really deserves it. He's got some awesome stuff on there as well. Anyways, enough rambling for now. So that concludes Devlog 1. We'll jump back on next week and share the state of affairs. Hopefully we're a lot further in. We'll have a bit of gameplay to show. Fingers crossed. Otherwise, you'll probably see us just punching each other. We'll show like a bit of a fist fight. Either way.
Should be entertaining to watch.
Probably worth watching.
Yeah, exactly right.
Alright guys, so thank you for joining us on the GameStormers, and we'll catch you next week.
Alright, catch ya.
Bye.
I watched a YouTube video about it actually. The
did you?
world's fastest clapper.
So 3rd episode and we're already plagiarizing.
Here's some other good stuff. Woo, well done. Imagine if clapping was different. Imagine if clapping wasn't this. Imagine if clapping was that.